Gentleman from Georgia has been very patient, and I thank him.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Weichert, thank you for being here. All of our witnesses appreciate you being here. But Director, thank you for appearing this afternoon and for giving me some time to talk about this last week. So beginning in October, the National Background Investigations Bureau moves to the DOD. We've had some discussion on that and some concerns, obviously, that are presented with that move. But also the OPM at that time faces like a $70 million shortfall. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And I believe you mentioned earlier something to the effect that inaction is not an option. We've got to deal with this. And Mr. Chairman, I really believe this whole situation affords this committee an opportunity to work together in a bipartisan way. And I think we've got to find a path forward that both protects the merit system while at the same time moves forward on an efficient and effective future. One of the things that has shocked me over the past 5 years is really the sorry state of our federal IT systems. We have some systems in several agencies older than my senior staff. Goodness for that matter, we have some older than me. Look at the IRS, and some systems older than 60. And by the way, Mr. Chairman, I'm not quite at the 60 mark for the record. I'm maybe holding on to my 50s like a loose tooth, but I'm not quite there yet. But so, Director Weichert, when you talked about this whole merger, one of the issues is with the IT. That really caught my attention. First of all, how many tech workers does OPM currently have?
So we have less than 200. We have budget for 300, but we have been unable to fill those roles because we can't get people who want to work on this old technology.
So you need how many?
Well, I don't have a definitive answer. What I could say is coming from the private sector where I've worked, an entity like Bank of America, half of its workforce are IT workers. So even though it sounds like it's a financial entity, half of its workers are IT workers.
So how many would you need to be kind of the bare minimum? What you need? You have 200. What do you need? Double that? What would you say?
I would say that we would, if we were to fundamentally transform the infrastructure that is as old as the IRS infrastructure and scares our CIO and our deputy CIO even more than their time at IRS, you would probably need, I'd want to get back and validate with my CIO, but you'd need thousands.
Okay, so we need thousands. You have fewer than 200.
Correct.
If the IT systems were updated appropriately, would the thousands come down?
Absolutely.
Okay. So with the minimal number of IT workers that you have, that's got to have a pretty significant impact on the agency as a whole. How would you describe it?
So I think that is a critical issue. It affects every part of what we do. Even a seemingly little application that we have called the document management system. It's meant to be an automated way to clear documents dealing with merit systems policy changes. The entire office of the director at OPM is required to sign off, 5 or 6 people. The only person in the office of director who actually has access to that system is sitting behind me, because anyone who has come in the last 5 years to the agency cannot get access to that system. So we manage something that is supposed to be automated on a purely manual basis. Another really sad example is because of the number of legacy systems we have in the retirement space, our hardworking OPM employees have to toggle between 2 very old systems that run on mainframes And in between, they have to do a bunch of manual calculations to deal with errors in those systems that we have not been able to automate. And that leads to, errors that affect our employees. They affect our employees, but they affect our annuitants as well. So literally every mission we have is hamstrung by old technology, and we can't even start to look at some of the simpler things that might get our FATARA score up, like cloud email, because we don't have enough IT professionals with tech expertise to even evaluate some of the outsourcing opportunities that might get us out of this ditch.
If I can, get to the crux of the matter here, how does shifting OPM to GSA help correct this situation? Both with the obvious IT and the economic shortfall involved?
So several things. Chairman Connolly asked me earlier, about GSA's mission. GSA has some core competencies that might not seem apparent to what we need, but their procurement leadership, particularly around IT procurement, is something that would help deeply enable us to be more efficient in getting the right people working on our platforms. They are great at hiring IT talent. Part of the reason they have a B+ on their FATARA scorecard is they've done an excellent job actually attracting tech talent from all of the parts of the country that have deep technical expertise. I want to take advantage of that. We've actually signed a interagency agreement to have them help us with the workforce planning, with the talent acquisition in the IT realm. They also have a number of authorities and experience managing these large financial asset pools and getting the authorities to create shared services pools that support them. When I had the chart up earlier showing the big trust fund capability, that trust fund does not have the ability to tap into support and commingle it with other IT support because it's supported differently and it's statutorily different. Some of the authorities GSA has would help us create that shared service connection.
I want to thank the acting director, and I know, Mr. Hice, we're going to explore that question in great depth over the coming months because that's a bigger question than even OPM.